Hello, everybody. So, I had a plan to go on with this Wednesday night thing, and of course, last night I get woke up in the middle of the night and I have creeping crud and all kinds of stuff. So, I'm probably not going to go very long, but I hate to put up something and then not do anything about it. So, yes, there is rum in there. Sue me. Rum and Coke. Yes, I know it's the drink of champions, and I don't care. So I got on Twitter and made a bit of an ass of myself, as you do. But I just got irritated at what I was seeing here. And I just am not a fan of how people are normalizing problems, how they revel in their emotional incontinence. And where I saw this was let me bring this screen up for you here. Here we go. DreamWorks normalizing panic attacks is something very special to me. And I got irritated. I was like, why would you think that is good? Like normalizing panic attacks. Panic attacks are not normal. I says, what are they going to normalize next? Are they going to normalize suicide, which I guess they are in Canada? Hey, Hammond. Um, and unfortunately, Twitter is not I said panic attacks should not be normalized; they should be treated. And of course, everybody jumped on me. And I get it. It's not the best place to have these kinds of arguments, but it's emotional incontinence. This way of people expressing and reveling and wearing their emotional damage like a badge of honor. Like we don't want to try to fix these things. We don't want to overcome these things. We want to show it as some sort of moral good to be a basket case. And that's what kind of got me irritated because it's like nothing. There's so much that's not very aspirational in the way they do movies now. And that's, I think, why people are not responding to all this woke stuff because most of the woke stuff, there's a lot of you're awesome the way you are. You don't need to change. Everybody else needs to accept you for what you are, even though you're a self destructive basket case that's just messing up your own life and messing up the lives around you. You think that this is some sort of something that should be celebrated. And that's what I. Now, maybe this guy didn't mean it that way. And this was about Puss in Boots. I don't know. I haven't watched Puss in Boots. I don't. I think I tapped out of Shrek after. I might have watched four. I don't remember. Was it the one where we went back in time? Maybe. I don't know. But I was like, why are we. Why is this a thing that we want to, celebrate? And it's the overcoming of those things. This is overcoming of problems, overcoming of internal or external problems and obstacles. Um, taking those negative things out of our lives and either, you know, conquering them or at least, making it so they are no longer an impediment is the aspirational way of thinking. And so many of the movies don't do that. They try to revel in it, and people are not responding. Now you take something like Top Gun Maverick, where it made all the money, and clearly that has a much more aspirational tone to it, a much more overcome the problems, overcome the issues, learn how to do things better than what you did, and I don't know if it's this emotional thing that we play nowadays that everybody wants to be emotional. They want to wallow in their emotions, and they take every problem and they air it out over social media. They talk about it forever. And they just it used to be they. I mean, we can't shame anything now. You can't be you can't be fat and say, well, try to be thinner. You got to say, no, you're body shaming. I can be as fat as I want, and then they end up, dying at 35 of diabetes and a heart condition. Um, it's more important that we don't make people feel bad about their various issues. And of course, a lot of the responses I got, it's like, well, they're finally saying it's okay to be scared. I'm like, what movie says it's not okay to be scared? What piece of entertainment doesn't pound that into our heads to tell everybody how it's okay to be scared? The good movies say courage is saying, yes, you feel scared and you do the thing anyway. You overcome the fear. But I can't think of any movie that acts like a high school bully telling you you're just a big pussy if you're scared. There's nothing good about it. Like I can't think of a single movie that breaches that. They act like finally it's okay. I'm like, what are you talking about? Which TV show or movie has ever done that? I mean, other than nothing mainstream, nothing has been successful. That's for certain. So that got me irritated, and that got and I just I and a lot of this, a lot of the people when they speak or when they come back at me like this is where I got into some of this robotic verbal diarrhea that just comes out of their mouths that just is not even it's not even real. And maybe they are bots. That's the problem. I really don't know anymore. It could be bots, but I mean, I hear these things of the bingo card. Colonizing, structural bias, post past trauma. Uh, Everything's rooted in something. The bad things are rooted in something else, right? There's not enough diversity. There's not enough. There's the gender binary. All these things, systemic. Oh, they love the word systemic. Just when I look at being in the mental, celebrating all the mental problems, and then listening to all these buzzwords, and just you kind of come to the conclusion that the very basic foundation of the left, progressive, woke, whatever, we have our own buzzwords too. I get so sick of people, soy boy, and do what. I mean, we overuse plenty of our own. And I understand there's a shorthand to it. You got to, sometimes you got to do that. But my point is that all of these words on the left, all these buzzwords and everything, really just come down to one thing and one thing only. It's not my fault. It's somebody else's fault. All the problems, all the pain, all the things in my life are somebody else. I have no weaknesses and I am perfect. And anybody tells me I'm not perfect or challenges me or makes me do anything different in my life that would improve it but maybe be uncomfortable is verboten. Can't do it anymore. Can't, and so this idea that criticism or problems that you might have in your life that nobody can bring them up, nobody can say, well, maybe you ought to change your behavior, and that you won't accept that and you'll wallow in whatever self-destructive path you've gone down. It's not helping anybody. This is sooner or later all these people are hitting walls of some sort. They're going to hit a wall, and you're just delaying the inevitable and making sure that the wall that they hit is going to be way bigger than it needed to be because everybody's so afraid of hurting everybody else's feelings. And I don't find that compassionate or nice at all. I find that awful. And yeah, Hammond, you're blowing me up here. Let me. I don't want to ignore you here. Trauma pays tons of social currency. Yeah, and it shouldn't. We should there's nothing compassionate about any of this. And for some people, I mean, some of this trans stuff, it's not, it's predatory. That's the worst part about it. But then when Hollywood, who, let's face it, that's a predatory organization in and of itself, ask Rose McGowan, ask Corey Feldman, ask God knows how many people who've been through all kinds of shit. Anybody who's dealt with Harvey Weinstein, they use all these things to be predatory, and it's just it's it's unfortunately coming out in all the entertainment movies. None of the, very few. There are a few, but very few of these movies anymore are aspirational, about overcoming obstacles, about the person looking in himself and saying, "I could do better. These things are my problem, and I can fix them." We're not telling people that, and so then the people believe, and why wouldn't they, that they do have no power over their own lives. And it's like, but you do. You have more power over your own life than you give yourself credit for. You can make the choices, and if you're willing to take the consequences of those choices, and remember that some choices are good, some choices are bad. And if you learn from the bad, and you're willing to do that, and you have a good foundation under you, you can people could do way more than what they think they can. And I'm not saying that everybody could be a rock star, everybody could be, a superstar actor or whatever, but you can be, you can have a healthy, good life where people love you. And that's, I mean, the older I get, the more junk I accumulate, the more I just want to get rid of stuff, the more I realize I don't need anything. It's like the only thing that matters to me anymore is time, because it's the only thing I can't buy more of. It's the only thing I can't extend. Is I can't get it back. I can't find more time under the couch cushions. I'm done. The time is gone. I can make more money, but I can't make more time. And the children that I had and that I knew, they're gone now. They're replaced by these thinking, functioning adults. And of course, I love these thinking, functioning adults, but I will never have those children again. And yeah, again, it's the way of life. But I mean, the time that we have is just precious, and to be wasting it, wallowing and continuing to self-destruct and continuing to harm ourselves, and never use that time to improve and get past these things, and then have everybody else celebrate these issues that you have. It's wasting so much life and so much time that you'll never get back. And these damn movies aren't doing anything to improve that. And so, while I wasn't very eloquent in my Twitter, it does bug me when I see, celebrating the weakness instead of the strengths. Which Shrek had the one where he signed some contract with, I think, Rumpelstiltskin? Yeah, I think that was the last one. I don't know. That was Shrek 4. Mike Myers needs a new yacht. I don't know. The NPC meme is real. Yeah, it is real. And that's where, and the reason why it's real is because from day one, there are so many people who are inundated with nothing but people who want to control them in some way, shape, manner, or form. Consume, consume, consume. Be a part of the state, nothing against the state, be a part of the group. And people who will take advantage of them and give them nothing that will make them self-reliant. Because if they're self-reliant, then, they don't need the state. They don't need you. And so you have this predatory and prey class that are just feeding off of each other. And the NPCs are the prey that are just fed off of by the media, politicians, the Hollywood, academia, all of them, corporate, especially corporations. I mean, Pfizer. I mean, those people should be put in jail. But yeah, I mean, I get irritated at the NPCs, but the reason why I get so irritated is because I just want them to start thinking for themselves. And of course, they immediately say, "Oh, you're just a MAGA, You're just one of the MAGAs. I hate it when they use MAGA as a noun. It's like, I know you're in the cult now. But it's like, this isn't about voting for somebody. I mean, my whole life does not revolve around who's in the White House, and it shouldn't for you either. Why does it? Why does everything come down to some sort of weird us against them all the time? What does that do for your life? How are you enjoying any of this? Why do you accept the lies and defend the lies? Why do you do that? I don't get it. You just hate that people exist. Yeah, I mean, that's what is I don't know what that means. I want people to exist and be able to be their best selves, have the freedom to choose what they want, and they're just getting lied to. They're being given the illusion of this choice as they're getting lied to and groomed and put into positions that even go so far as mutilating themselves. And it's just like, how is that? Yeah, they exist, but what a miserable existence. They don't seem to be happy about anything. Cult recruitment relies heavily on convincing people they've been traumatized. They prey on emotionally unstable people and present the cult political party as being a savior. Yeah, it's much more succinct than my rambling, incoherent nonsense. But thank you. Yes, I appreciate that. Not a great movie. Rumpelstiltskin was a cool character aside. Yeah, he was okay. Um, I mean, it was what was it was a wonderful life, right? I mean, that's basically what it was. What would it be like if you'd never been born? And he has to figure out how to get back and all that. It was okay, I guess. I don't know. I think just Shrek had worn itself out by then. It seems as if the spoiled children that were never told no have grown up and created this whole woke crap as a shield from adult responsibility, a harsh objective reality. Well, yeah, I mean, they've turned the word adult into a verb, right? They say, "Oh, adulting is hard." I'm like, adulting is not that hard. I don't want to go back to being a kid again. I don't want to. Well, I mean, would I like to be younger and not, old and waking up 3 times a night to take a piss? Yeah, that would be nice. But as far as my brain and what I can do and where I'm at, and the things I know, I don't want to go back to that naive moron I used to be. That's crazy, um, and I don't understand where this is coming from. I mean, it didn't come out of nowhere. This has been going on for years, right? Decades. And, you have to start with them young and you keep doing this until they, turn 20 and then they're out there screaming and breaking. And people who feel powerless, this is what they do. At the end of the day, anybody like the Antifa or the Black Lives Matter, and I'm talking about the rank and file, the ones that get used to do all the crimes and probably either end up maybe they get arrested, but even if they don't, they end up burning down their own neighborhoods. And now they don't have any place to shop or anything, and then they're even more upset because of the things that they used to have, or there's even more things getting taken away from them. They think they're fighting the good fight, they're just hurting themselves. It's like, well, if you don't know anything else, if you are so programmed to actively reject anything that might give you a different message. I mean, how would you act? Serious question. How would you act? I mean, probably similar, same way. I can't say that I would be so awesome at it. I just got lucky enough to be told I got to do stuff on my own, think on my own. My parents weren't there to help me every minute of the way. I try to do that for my kids. I think they've done okay. But, it's like that's not the message that's going out to so many. And it's rich and poor, white, black, everybody. And there's so many that are on this one side of where it's everybody else's fault and not yours. So that irritated me, but maybe we could talk about something nicer. Let's see. I should bring up the website and I can look at the news. Oh, this I did like this. This is AI. And I've been seeing these happen around. This is an AI made picture, and then people are saying it's the new Cronenberg movie or something like that. Um, David Cronenberg's movie Galaxy of Flesh from 1985. This is not real people. This is not a real movie. This never happened. It's just AI created. But I gotta admit, I would watch that. That looks awesome. Yeah. And I I I mean the imagery is amazing. I have no idea what I'm looking at here. Um, Jesus Christ. Uh, th- this is our AI overlords. They are some sick mothers. Uh, what's this one? We got this one. Look at that. A briefcase full of lungs. I guess. Whatever. Uh, it's just so creepy. And I've been seeing this. So one guy did another one I saw where it was like RoboCop as a medieval thing, and then he made the AI pictures, and so they did RoboCop, but it was like Sir RoboCop, and the Clarence Boddicker character is an evil lord or something like that. It was great, and I'm like going, okay, it's kind of getting scary here because I don't know what this AI is going to do to movies. Um, and people are probably going to believe this stuff, even though it is not a real movie in any shape, manner, or form. I do have concerns. I will admit, buy hard copies of the movies because they're going to do all these little tweaks and AI things, and the kids are going to watch the movie for the first time. It's going to be different. They won't know that it's different, and they won't have the original copy in their hands to prove that this is not what came out. I mean, they've already done it to Star Wars. Star Wars is so bastardized. The original Star Wars, and I'm not just talking about like Han shot first. I mean, there's all the obvious stuff, right? The cleaned up special effects and things like that. But there's like little of things. One of them is like when they get captured, they get put on the Death Star. They hide, and then they get the stormtrooper clothing, and then when they go up to the room where they kind of hole up for a bit. To get in that room, they have to shoot a couple of guys. And when they shoot him, there's like a little bit of flame that comes out and the guy falls over. And they've cut out like 30 frames of that to make it look not quite as burny. And so you don't see as much of the flame and stuff. And you would, if you didn't know, like I probably wouldn't have noticed as much as I know that film up and down. I still probably wouldn't have noticed that if there wasn't something on YouTube where somebody did a lot of comparisons between the original and the special edition. And that's on the Blu-ray. If I want the original, I have to get the despecialized edition. Out on the high seas. I mean, it's not an official release, but it's the only way. And I gotta wonder how many other movies are falling to this. I I I mean, some of it is good, like Aliens, with the director's cut. James Cameron's director's cut of Aliens is better than the original, and it adds some things. I don't believe it takes anything away, but it just fleshes out Ripley's character a little bit. Adds the thing where her daughter had passed away. She'd grown old and passed away while she was in cryosleep all that time, and that left an emptiness with her, and so her finding Newt, it really reinforced that whole mother daughter thing. Not that it wasn't there before, but it all that little stuff helped. And so I'm not against doing director's cuts and things like that, but some of these little subtle things that they do. And then other things like Blade Runner, how many cuts does it have? Like 5 or 6? I don't know which one is the correct one, or which one is the one that came out in theaters. If you have them all available to you and they're very transparent about it, I guess I don't mind. But I think with Star Wars, where they just cut out like 30 frames so it didn't look quite as violent, I think they did the same thing when they got to the detention block and they were shooting up the detention block. I'm like, okay, is this something that's really necessary? Do we really have to do this sort of thing? I don't know. So yeah, these kinds of things, this AI stuff, it gets more and more worrisome because you don't know. Like if you were there at the beginning, you know what's real and what's not. Like I was there in '85. I know that movie doesn't exist, but other people, these younger kids, they're not going to know. Somebody could tell me some movie was made in the '40s. Okay, I wouldn't know if it was done right. Um, and the more we tear apart and obfuscate the facts and screw around with history, the worse. We're going to lose something. We're not going to know what's real and what's not, and this managing of the message of facts of history of movies, all this entertainment, it frightens the hell out of me. I hope that we can somehow manage to keep the truth always there, no matter what it is, and make that work. But I don't know. It's a little scary. So anyway, that's about a half hour, and because my throat is a mess, I'm probably going to leave it there. Just a couple things I wanted to yammer about. I'm going to try to do this on Wednesday nights, though, and hopefully, if you can't come to the Sunday ones, you'll be there on the Wednesday ones. And also, there may not be a Sunday one this Sunday coming up on the 21st. Is that right? 22nd. Not be there on January 22nd. So we may not have a live stream that day, but we'll be back on the following weekend. Um, until then, just remember we are lastmovieoutpost.com. We have all the latest in movie news, streaming news, and everything cool about film. We are the cool news now. You can reach me at Drunken Yoda1 or Drunken Yoda at lastmovieoutpost.com. And we hope to see you on the next stream. And thank you very much if you were here and for watching. And of course, if you watch us later, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe and let people know about us. We'd really appreciate it. Take care, and I'll see you on the next stream.